breaking and we go back to our top story. Republic has accessed Kejriwal's reply to the ED. And remember that Kejriwal has now called the ED summons illegal, invalid, even raised the vested interest argument. In fact, Kejriwal has once again skipped the ED summons. And he has also done this earlier. So that is the top story we're tracking right now on Republic TV, where once more we see that Arvind Kejriwal skips ED summons in the excise policy case. And what we see right now is that the entire letter has been accessed by Republic TV, the letter that he has written to the ED. Now, he has called the entire summons illegal, invalid. He has also said and skipped the summons, saying that ED should reply to him, and they have not replied to the earlier inquiries that he has sent. He's also saying that he's busy in Republic Day celebrations in reply to the ED, and he has also asked ED to reply back in the letter and has alleged a bid to tarnish his reputation. Now, time and again, Kejriwal in the past has also stood up for his ministers, Aam Aadmi Party ministers, who have been caught in the excise policy radar, who have been under the radar for a very long time. He has always said that Aam Aadmi Party is completely clean and does not indulge in corruption. Even we are seeing the top leaders have been under the radar of the liquor gate probe. Let's go to Abhishek Kapoor, who is joining us in our studio, a senior executive editor. Abhishek, I'm coming to you right now. You know, he has, Kejriwal has sent a huge reply, very long letter, and he has mentioned many details in that letter. If you could take our viewers through what that letter says and the kind of argument that Kejriwal is making for not coming to ED for the summons that he has been issued.
All right, so it's a 5-page response, and it would be interesting for the viewers to understand what Mr. Kejriwal is saying. He is essentially saying that the summon is not clear about whether Mr. Kejriwal's personal attendance is sought as Chief Minister of Delhi, as convener of the Aam Aadmi Party in his personal capacity as Chief Minister, or as someone who helms the Aam Aadmi Party or is the Aam Aadmi Party Supremo. And that's the basic premise from where the letter begins. And then he goes on to say there seems to be a problem. The earlier summons are similarly worded. The ED has not bothered to respond to his queries that he has raised in response to earlier summons. He's suggesting that there seems to be an element of political motivation in the manner in which the investigation is being carried out. He's saying that there is an element of malafied, given the fact that the summons are leaked to the media even before they reach him. He's suggesting that in the earlier communication, he has asked some questions which the ED has not bothered to respond to. And that's why he says that this kind of non-disclosure and non-response approach smacks of arrogance and obstinacy and tantamount to assuming the role of judge, jury and executioner. So instead of responding to whatever the enforcement directorate wants him to, and to submit himself to process of law, Mr. Kejriwal is actually making very strong accusations against the law enforcement agency. And I'm again going by the communication that Mr. Kejriwal has sent to the enforcement directorate. Point number 9, in fact, says that the elections to the Council of Estates, that is Rajya Sabha from the state of Delhi, as in for the members of Rajya Sabha from the state of Delhi, are happening as we speak. 3rd January, that is today, is the time when the process of election starts and is going to be completed by 19th of January. And he, as the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, is needed to be part of the process, to supervise, to guide the process so far as his party is concerned. He has also said at point number 10, being the Chief Minister of Delhi, is quite occupied in planning and preparation for several programs and functions for the Republic Day also, which happens to be January 26. And in these circumstances, he says that I hope I shall act as per law by transparently and fairly considering my objections. So he has said that please consider my objections. Consider that I have preoccupations, first with the Rajya Sabha elections and then with the Republic Day events, and hence I cannot come. And then says if you respond to my questionnaire and in the meanwhile, if you want that you can be satisfied with a written reply to whatever questions you have, then he is more than willing to help. He has not said anywhere that he can submit himself physically to questioning at later stage. He is saying that I am busy. If you want, send me a written questionnaire and I'll give a written reply, and that should suffice. And he has used some provisions of the PMLA, which is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and said that his personal appearance is not required. So in a way, in effect, Shivangi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal effectively has refused to appear in person. This is the third summon. Remember, there can be many more. This is a process, can go on till the time that the ED decides that enough is enough, and then they have to follow it up with whatever process is available in terms of issuing warrants and to summon a person with the force of the warrant. But what is important is that as of now, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has chosen A, not to appear in person, and B, to raise questions about the motivations of the entire investigation and to question the intentions of Enforcement Directorate, calling it judge, jury and executioner, and to tell the Enforcement Directorate officer, it has been addressed to Mr. Joginder, who is Assistant Directorate in the in the Directorate of Enforcement in the Ministry of Finance, and the address is Pravartan Bhavan, which is at the APJ Abdul Kalam Road, New Delhi, and he has, as I mentioned, gone on to say that, like in the case of earlier summons, so in this case, I am not coming, seems motivated. This is investigation which is being carried out for vexatious considerations, and so you first answer the questions I am raising, and then maybe I can answer whatever questions you have.
Right.
Shivangi.
Well, Abhishek is getting us all the details. Abhishek Kapoor getting us top updates. And Abhishek, I just want to ask you about what has happened in the past, because, you know, we kind of did expect that Kejriwal would be skipping these summons, because in the past he's always stood by his ministers who are in Liquorgate net already, because we see in the past Sanjay Singh or whether it be Manish Sisodia, he has stood up for them. But after we saw that they were implicated, there seems to be a little bit of downturn in the confidence that Arvind Kejriwal has right now. So much so that, is it a possibility, is that the reason why he's not turning up for the summons?
Well, that's going to be a legal response, and obviously it is up to the Aam Aadmi Party to frame their legal response, Shivangi. But what is important is that the first summon was issued on 2nd of November 2023. At that time, Mr. Kejriwal had said that he was busy with the elections going on in the 5 states. The second summon was issued on 20th of December last month, and that time he, in fact, he was supposed to appear on 21st of December as per the summon, but he chose to go for the Vipassana course in Punjab, and the Vipassana course began exactly on 21st of December, so that was the excuse. And this time he's saying that today, in fact, the process for elections to the Council of Estates or the Rajya Sabha from Delhi, and that Delhi elects 3 Rajya Sabha MPs, is beginning today and going to go until 19th of January, after which he would be busy for a week with the 26th January Republic Day festivities, because the government, as Chief Minister, he is involved in the process. So that is the reason why he is not going. So first summon he was busy with the elections, second summon he was busy with the Vipassana course, and the third one he's again busy with the elections. And obviously by the time 26th January is over, and there would be budget session of the Delhi Assembly also, and then of course the general election cycle. So effectively, if you look at it, if there are 2 more summons after a gap of 20 days each, you can expect the reply to be along similar lines. And as I said, this is a conjecture, but I'm saying that this is a possible excuse that Mr. Kejriwal could give. But what is important is that he has said that he's willing for a written reply to a questionnaire sent by the Enforcement Directorate, and that his physical presence is not needed, which means there is an indication that even if this is followed by few more summons by the Enforcement Directorate, as is the process, it's unlikely that the Delhi Chief Minister and the Aam Aadmi Party National Convener, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, is going to submit himself to those summons.
This happens to be a very, very important story, Abhishek, because we are discussing the story because we have seen in the past the kind of politics and war words that we have seen with both the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP holding press conferences and bringing Liquorgate to the fore. Liquorgate was something that we spoke a lot about on Republic TV, got information about the connections between some key players. Till now and before the Lok Sabha elections, this does seem to be a very crucial and key point here, isn't it, Abhishek?
Well, you see, we don't know whether for the Enforcement Directorate that's going to be a consideration that there are state elections, there are Rajya Sabha elections, and there are general elections. But for a political party, obviously, these are considerations. Insofar as the other accused already in custody are concerned, you are right, Shivangi. The fact is that right up to the Supreme Court, the bail applications of Sanjay Singh, of Manish Sisodia, of others, of which they have been rejected. And we have seen how in the specific instance of Manish Sisodia just a month and a half back, we had the Supreme Court, topmost court of the country, saying that there seems to be a money trail, there seems to be a scam, we can't help it, we can't give bail. And that's why Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister, who also happened to be the Excise Minister at that time, continues to remain in judicial custody. So obviously there are issues with the excise policy scam, and given the fact that the buck stops typically with the party supremo, that's why perhaps the Enforcement Directorate wants to question him. But then there is a legal loophole which Arvind Kejriwal has found, which is that the Enforcement Directorate has to clarify whether he has been called as an accused or a witness, because that's not clear from the summon, whether he has been called as Chief Minister, whether he has been called as a convener of the Aam Aadmi Party. And so I think there is a play of words there. And surprisingly, the third time the ED has issued the same summon, not clarifying that position which Arvind Kejriwal wants plugged. So whether there is something between the agency and its legal team, or whether this is part of a process, a normal process which the agency wants exhausted, is something we have to wait and watch. Maybe we can get Shawan and try to understand why this is happening, that every time Arvind Kejriwal gets an opportunity to ask the Enforcement Directorate why the agency is not clarifying whether he has been called as a witness or an accused. And that would, I think, plug the gap. But having said that, till the time that gap is there, Mr. Kejriwal has continued to respond in a similar manner. And I think in this communication, at least he has made it clear that he is not appearing in person at all unless the ED responds with the answers to his questions, and if need be, a questionnaire which he can give a written reply to.
Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us here. Abhishek Kapoor, Senior Executive Editor, getting us top updates coming in. As we have gone ahead, we have got that exact letter where Kejriwal has applied to the ED. In the reply, Kejriwal has called ED summons illegal and invalid.